Hello again. Well, caught a little bit of Jeh Johnson. You know who Jeh Johnson is, right? He heads up the Department of Homeland Security. And he was talking about the threats that the largest mall, the Mall of the Americas, has received. And that is from Al-Shabaab, you know, the terrorists that 2 years ago slaughtered 67 people in an upper scale mall in Kenya. Well, now they're asking to have their followers do the same thing, kill and maim innocent American people. And the head of the Department of Homeland Security's Jeh Johnson said that, quote, people need to be particularly careful, end of quote. What does that mean, particularly careful? How can anyone be particularly careful against suicide bombers? Huh? These folks will go into a mall, as they have, open up with their AK-47s and throw hand grenades here, there, everywhere. So how can people be particularly careful? At the same time, the State Department is flooding American cities with Syrian refugees. And when they've received criticism, they say that America was founded on helping such people. Really? Excuse me. I didn't know that the immigrants that came from Europe were like such people that we're now experiencing. Huh? I mean, what's the connection between the immigrants that came from Europe and the ones that are being imported from Syria by the Chosen One? Could this be another way that he's building his militia? I mean, I'm just asking. There's no way to verify any information on anyone that's being brought here. And we know that they're here. We know that there are cells here waiting to be activated. We also know that Minneapolis has a very large population of people from that part of the world that tend to go back and join the fight. What else did I hear? Oh yeah, those 3 little girls from Britain, 15, 14. How is it that they're able to get on an airplane to fly to Turkey? And why will Turkey allow them to go to Syria? Well, I think the answer is relatively simple. They need the blood. They need to inbreed. They need to have new blood. Because all they do is inbreed. And these girls are going to be in for a nightmare. One that they'll never forget. Assuming that they live long enough to forget or remember anything. It's completely crazy. This Jeh Johnson's clearly out of his mind. As is Barack Hussein Obama. You know, they're also talking about Obama's inability to say Islamic extremists. Yet ISIL constantly says that they're following their methodology as outlined in the Quran. So you see, it all comes down to interpretation, doesn't it? But really, when you think about it, the Quran is very clear on a whole lot of issues, especially when it comes to killing infidels. Oh no, by the way, an infidel, anyone that isn't one of them. They could be Muslims, but if they don't adhere to their methodology, then guess what? They'll feel the sword on their necks. Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it? The times that we live in. Actually, it's terrifying that this insanity is allowed to continue. That's sort of what I think. What do you think?